6 on Wednesday. It's been a long week already. June 10th, sitting in as co-chair is Dan Millard. With us is Eileen Sheridan, Laura Ingram, Don Wright, Linda Ackerson, and I'm missing somebody. Who am I missing? Who am I missing?
Jan.
Jan and
DA.
And DA.
DA. Hildebrand. Okay. So, approval of the minutes.
I move the minutes be approved as presented.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Minutes are approved. Moving on to public comments.
Yay, team!
All right.
All right. All right.
Yay,
Mo.
public.
Yay, public, indeed. Go for it, Mo.
Just a quick FYI, apparently one of the months we did not approve the minutes. I know, yeah, an oversight, a gross oversight. So I will bring those to you. I think they're March minutes or something. It will just be very pro forma, but next month you'll have 2 sets of minutes. So, and the director's report, we had the unusual situation of actually essentially checking out the same number of materials and having the same door count as last year at this time.
Good.
Yeah, within, 100ths and tenths of percentage points. I just round up always, of course. And so that's really good. Because, our statistics have been a little bit off and on in that area. And we made more money, but as you also know, sometimes that depends on when the weeks fall and when the money gets counted. That's actually quite a bit of money, $846 for 1 week though. I mean, 1 week is usually more like 500, something like that. So anyway, so we're up, and then self-check's down and internet use is down. Who knows why? Who knows why? Who knows why? Don't know. The self-check is not very reliable, so if it was like not working well for a couple of days, that can account for. And this is one reason why I think it's really great that we're moving to RFID. So that's good.
Sorry, RFID?
RFID is radio frequency identification, which is the kind of thing where you can.
Like what Multnomah has?
Yes, exactly. So checkout becomes a lot easier and faster, and
As
we'll
long as
have.
you don't have a stack a mile high, yeah.
Yeah, it's limited to about 5 or 6 at a time, and then it stops catching titles.
Right, and
Yeah.
it also varies depending on how thick your items are. If
Yeah,
you've got like
and-
a couple of CDs on top of some thick
And what your
book,
items are. You sound like a pro already.
Yeah.
We'll have you in there training new people. That would be
It's-
perfect.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, it is good stuff, and I'm really pleased that we're moving that direction.
Yeah.
And then the events for May, the big event was the May the 4th Be With You event, and that was awesome, and we've decided it just has to be an annual event. Unfortunately, we're losing Peter to Malala Library, and he's kind of the one that spearheaded it, but he had cohorts, and teammates this time, so they basically know what he gets up to. But he'll probably be competing with us down there now, next year. So we
Was
have
Peter
to call.
our techie guy?
Kinda, yeah.
Okay.
He's the tall, bald guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sci-fi, fantasy.
Yes.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah.
Nice guy.
He got a professional position at
Good.
Malala Library, which is great for him. And add that to the fact that they just moved to Malala. So now he has a 1-mile commute,
Very cool.
which is awesome for him. And he's been with us for 9 years, kind of waiting for a professional position. And this was a really great opportunity for him. So, yeah. And then that kind of allows us, with that and some other movement, to go ahead and work on filling the children's librarian position this year instead of waiting until next year, which I'm very excited about. And it will be really interesting to introduce a person into the existing environment and say, make magic happen, and this is what you got, and it's going to get so much better. But I think it's really good timing, actually, because I think it will be a good bonding, and so because of that, I think that will be good for the team for the future as well. Interesting timing, though. And then we had our first Friday film for June already. We had mindful meditation for adults, which had about 18 people show up, and then one for teens, which is next week, which they really try to show how, you know, slowing yourself down and thinking about your emotions and stuff can really like prevent a lot of bad decision making and just make life a lot easier, as we all know, if we take the time to do that as well, right? And then the poets are coming on June 18th. And one of these poets, the Bard Poets, is my neighbor, Armin, who is really, really awesome. So I hope some people show up. That would be great. Summer reading has started. What's the summer reading report, the sign-ups? Any indicators?
I didn't look. It's over 200 and something.
We signed up today, and it was 323 and 324.
Wow.
Okay.
As
It's
of an hour and a half
324.
ago.
There you
yes.
go. That's
So I
great.
had a few
Good.
onto that, but
I know it was really busy this morning, so.
yeah.
That's great. Everybody always likes to really sign up early in the beginning, so that's where we get our most numbers. And then we decided to do a matching fines for the week of our anniversary, and I think that's also another one of those things that we just need to make annual, you know, because it just is a nice way to,
Our birthday gift to you.
yeah, our birthday gift to you. And we have such a great logo that Ingrid came up with, you know, so, I mean, we absolutely have to use it. So any questions on the director's report or the statistics?
Where
or
will you be
anything?
posting the children's librarian position? Just on all the general listservs?
Yeah, I hadn't thought to go national on that.
Okay.
I think there's probably enough local talent.
Yeah, I'm sure there's enough local.
Yeah.
talent. Okay. All right.
Hmm. And we're not there yet. We're probably 3 to 4 weeks away. I mean, we haven't even started thinking about it.
Yeah.
So, but that is pretty exciting. And then, Dan, would you like me to just go on to the building
Yep, go to the
report?
building report, please and thank you.
Okay. So, I cannot believe I don't have any. Wait, can you run out and get 7 postcards from the Diane's counter for the Save the
Postcards.
Date,
Oh,
Save the
yeah.
Date postcards? So, we've established our Save the Date, our groundbreaking ceremony for starting work as August the 8th.
8.
From 10 to noon. So I'm hoping that all of you can put this on your calendar and that as many of you as possible can come. I know, it's a Saturday in the summer, what a pain. But it seemed like the best time. So, so we're working on details of that. Oh, you've got one already.
Thank you, ma'am.
Nice. Nice. Well, I just
Thank you.
got them this morning, so
Good, good.
she's got one already, yeah.
Yes.
So I'm working with Krista Kruger. Does anybody remember Krista? Yeah, from the library board and the foundation. I called her and she had wanted to volunteer for like a specific event. And I'm like, do I have an event for you? And she just has jumped in with both feet, and she's awesome. She's so organized, and it's great. And then Linda Orzen from the Friends are kind of like we're like kind of the organizing committee, and then Linda has volunteered to help. Dawn, we'll pull you guys in as we come up with things. Katie from upstairs, David's assistant, they just organized the governor's thing a couple weeks ago, so they've got some recent history on organizing events. So I'm like, yeah, sure, that would be great. So we're organizing that. Between now and then, we will be in front of the commission next Wednesday night. We'll be asking for approval of a architect amendment, contract amendment, and I'll explain that in a minute. And that's going to go on the consent agenda, actually, so it may not come up for discussion. And then we'll be also asking them to move forward with the temporary utility work. So let's talk about that in just a minute, because I would like to get your recommendation that they approve those things. And then hopefully the utility work will start on June 22nd. And with that, the slide and the swing set will be removed and placed in storage in the event we use them for art in the future. And the spray park will remain open and the top park will remain open. So there are 2 signs out there now, kind of at either entrance. Did you see them? Good.
Yeah.
And we're handing out little flyers on the inside just to kind of give people a heads up. Right now, most of the activity, honestly, is in the spray park. And if we were going to close the spray park, I think people would have our heads.
Yeah.
But
Especially with it being as hot as it is.
yeah, especially with it being as hot as it is. But so this isn't primary on most people's radar right now, but still, it's a big deal.
That's a good idea.
And Denise McGriff and Kim Walsh and I are going to try and come up with some kind of little goodbye celebration, which probably will be taking pictures of people, like their last swing, their last slide, or whatever, and then trying somehow to like match those things up with people's names and giving them a copy if possible, emailing it to them, or I don't know what we're going to do, posting them on Facebook. So, you know, you could see how this would get complicated pretty quickly. I want to keep it easy, but I want to do something that would also help recognize that this is going away for a while from the neighborhood, and when it comes back, it won't look exactly the same ever again. So, I'll be meeting with them on Friday to talk more about that. And Kim also volunteered to help with like a tree event. I was kind of thinking that the tree event could maybe go at the beginning, early on in the groundbreaking ceremony, where we could do like tree rubbings, and then the TRAG had an idea for an art project that was like tree cookies that they were hoping to do that day at the thing, at the groundbreaking. The tree place, what's it called?
Hopkins
has done that.
They're just the
Remember?
round painted ones.
Yeah, just that. That's all it would be. Something like that. So, and I was also considering that maybe we could get like a blessing or something from like the Unitarian people across the street, and maybe a tribal leader or some sort, just to kind of like say goodbye to the trees and bless the land. Just something kind of, you know, get emotional about. So I don't know. Those are just my thoughts, and I would love to hear from you, Laura, and on that, since you were interested in that aspect of the groundbreaking. And then in July, we'll have another meeting before then, but we will probably be going back to the commission to request approval for a purchase of the steel, because it's an item that has a long lead time. And then in August, we'll go and say, here's the guaranteed maximum price, and this is that's what we're really aiming for. So David Frazier asked me, he's like, are you going to be coming back with all these like approvals? And I'm like, no, it's just that this one thing, the steel, has a long lead time. And the other work is, it's kind of pre-construction work, you know, so it's not really.
The steel prices fluctuate a lot?
They do.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I imagine they would. Okay.
So, and good news is we're still on budget. We've hit 50% construction documents. So that means that, you know, the theory of the design is turning into reality, and they're putting prices to things, and things have had to be moved around a little bit, but with DA's help and Joan's help and all those guys, we've been able to maintain our current budget. So that's looking good. The playground stuff is not looking so good, but we'll get it worked out. We're having a meeting with Denise and Parks people tomorrow to try and come up with a proposal, so that before we go to PrAC in June, we have like a compromise proposal that we can kind of agree on.
What's the Parks feeling right now? The Parks and Rec?
They ran from it.
Well, you know, there
Yes.
was the what?
They ran.
Were you there? Were you there on the
Yes.
28th?
Were you there?
Yes. That was really a miserable 2 hours. I am never going to waste my time on people like that again. They even insulted the city staff.
Yeah,
It was
yeah, I heard they were very
unpleasant.
bad, and that Scott kind of eventually took them to task on it,
They did.
and,
The
which was
neighborhood
appropriate.
association.
Yes.
There's a particular member who is particularly really, and she's been that way to me, and it's very difficult to, but we were in McLaughlin Neighborhood Association meeting, not in front of an advisory group. It's pretty hard to take.
So they don't want to make a decision, really, but they know they have to in
Crack.
June. Yes.
Yeah, and
So-
and I kind of wish they would have had more of this background and ahead of time. They didn't. I guess they didn't really have enough of the full picture. They needed to get the full picture and then go back and think about it. But we don't want. We want to come up with a solution
Yeah,
before that we
timely.
can present at the next meeting. So that's what we'll be aiming for tomorrow, so that we can wrap this thing up. Either that, or like Karen Morey suggested in the Friends group, it's knowing what that equipment is going to be does not hold up the project. Knowing or not knowing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
That
going
does not.
forward
Maybe we
regardless.
should just like table it for a while. You know,
Is that possible?
it might be possible.
We reserve the space, but we don't put anything on the space,
Yeah.
right?
Well, we just decide as it gets closer to the time when it needs to have the equipment. You know.
Because
So-
it's not the focal point of the project,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
for that to hinder just
These people that came and testified, and I think even Denise McGriff is still egging people on to do this. I think they're just trying to drive a knife into the process, and this is what they've grabbed hold of. And unfortunately, it's the tail end of the project. We don't need any of that equipment specified or finished until the end, and
Yeah.
we might, in the end, have enough money to do something nicer. You know, we never
Like-
know.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Like put the playground underground, like they like.
That's an idea.
I might remind you that you're being recorded.
Anyway,
one of the
it's not
strategies
going
might
to
be
stop.
to
It's
just
not
move
going to,
forward.
they're not going to give up.
Could be.
Yeah.
But we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Yeah. So anyway, power forward.
She's the one that's in those.
And I think you're well put, that the playground equipment won't stop the process,
No.
so it's,
Right.
if we
It's a
can't
hiccup.
decide, then I think you keep moving
So,
forward.
you work on our building, make sure that our building is.
Yeah, that
stabilized,
won't stop.
And let them fight over the playground as much as they want until the neighborhood association takes them out on a rail and flogs them. Says, bring back our park.
I think the priority being that in the summertime, as long as the spray park is up and functioning,
Yeah.
that it becomes less, there's enough going on that allows for space for those decisions to be made as the discussions have to happen, if people need to have more backstory or more explanation in terms of prac.
Well, I just don't want to subject my consultants to any more meetings than
Yeah.
they need to attend, because frankly, this is a huge drain. And it's way more time for the landscape architect, and it's way more time for the architect, and it's a lot of staff time. And if it's not going to get resolved, then I'm, going to probably suggest that we just table it for a while. But if we can get it resolved, that would be really nice to wrap it up.
So looking at that timeline after the next meeting, if it seems like there still isn't a resolution in sight, do we make a recommendation to possibly table it for a while, or does that come from you?
I
Just-
don't know.
Okay.
I think PrAC's just going to do their, they may make a decision, they may not in June, and
Right, I
Okay.
think we just have to see what they
Kind
do.
of, okay,
But we
we're
want
just
to
gonna wait
give
for
them
them.
something that they could make a decision about.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? So,
But I do want to say one thing, that with, what Maureen said is we reached that 50% construction document level, and the budget remains solid.
It's great.
And and I'm not sure you heard the contractor say this, but really, at this point, their numbers aren't going to change. If we really asked him for a GMP tomorrow, we'd get it,
wow,
because they're that confident now
That's great.
about how well developed the documents are. There will be surprises all along, but nothing so big that it'll derail the project. So we've really achieved that confirmation that we need.
good. That's great.
So yeah, it's really that's the most
Huge.
important news that came out of this month.
That's huge.
That's good.
Yeah. So, folks, looks like we're going to have a library one of these days. Yay, yay. we'll get the public art thing going again. I'm meeting with those guys next week, I think. Yeah, prior to our Tuesday regular meeting, I'm gonna meet with the people from the Arts Alliance, and Joan and Denise Kai will be able to be in on that. And as you know, we're trying to reduce our profile over at the library, so we're ready for construction and for the temporary wall and all that good stuff. So it's really looking, we know how much we've already taken out, and I look around and I go, yeah, it's starting to look cleaner, but we have a ways to go. We have a ways to go in like all of the areas. I mean, seriously, it's amazing how much we had packed in there. 5 years in your temporary location will do that to you. Yeah. So back on the thing that we're going to go talk to the commission about next week. We have an architect's amendment to their contract in the amount of $67,000. This almost entirely comes from work that is now required because of the public works requirements in the right-of-way around and near the library. So like 63 out of the $67,000, that's what that is from.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's just, what I talked to Charlie, the project manager, Charlie Ballman, for a long time today on the phone, and he said that in most what you do when you start a project is you don't know what that's going to be, so you set aside some contingency, but you don't name it. You don't say like this is what this is. You just set it aside in contingency. Well, it was bigger than what we expected to have, but we still have enough contingency to cover it. But this is the stage of the game where you like name it and you make it an amendment to the architect's contract so that you can get that specific work done, because now you know what to estimate.
Mm-hmm.
So they wanted more than we ever thought they'd want, but now we know what that package is. And so now we'll go to the city commission and say, this is the amendment, but this is what it's for. So what I really like, it can't hurt to make a motion to have you guys just approve a recommendation.
Do we
And
put
just
a
in
number
case
on
they-
that?
Pardon?
Do we put a number on that recommendation?
We can just say architect's amendment number 3.
All right.
Yeah. And it's just so that if they ask at the commission level, has the library board heard about this, or are they okay with this, then I can just say, yeah, they recommend it, It's pretty self-explanatory, and I'm not even sure it will come up because it's on the consent agenda, but
Mhm.
that would be, I think, a nice thing to do.
Let me clarify something about that. We're needing to, pay the architects and their consultants to design all this work. But it's the city has come back and said they want all these water main extensions and sewer line changes and paving replacements out here around in the streets around the library.
Yeah.
Some of which we don't think is very fair. We're paying a lot of SDCs, system development charges, and then they're asking us to go out and do all the work that they would maybe ought to be doing some of that themselves out of other budgets. So we've had a lot of discussion about that, and we haven't gotten anywhere with trying to push back on the Public Works Department. They pretty much said, this is what we want.
Yeah, and
And if we want our approvals, our permits, then that's what we pay for.
Sure.
So now I think we're carrying somewhere around 260, 270,000 in the budget for all of that work. That's the real work, and then what we're doing right now is, so that's going to be in the GMP budget. So we won't be seeing amendments for that work. So we're only having to take care of the architects.
yeah.
So that's all we're doing.
Yeah, it's the design work that needs to be done ahead of time that we're paying for.
Yeah,
The
and that
design
wasn't
and the
in their
inspection-
scope.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so that's why you're only hearing about the architect side of it.
Okay.
Yeah, because they carry the consultant for this.
Well, why don't we get this?
So, we did go back and have a chat with Public Works, and it all seemed pretty reasonable as they laid it out.
Mhm.
And they're also making sure that they time any projects in the area so that it will align with ours so that like paving and stuff doesn't get, we don't have to pay
Redoing it.
for it, they'll be doing it, kind of thing. So they're trying to cooperate with us. I can't say too much.
And how much did you have in contingency?
Oh, we had a lot tucked away in different
There
pockets.
are multiple contingencies
Yeah.
in the design phase
Yeah.
for different aspects of the work.
Just like this. And then the contractor has contingencies as well. Yeah, it's all built into the project in really healthy amounts.
But this is the first one that's actually being utilized.
No, we've moved contingency money around before.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, we've made appropriate use of contingency funds.
Okay.
But since this involves a contract, that's why you need a recommendation.
This involves a contract over $50,000.
Yes. Right.
And that's why the commission has to sign off on it. So, and that's why you're seeing it. Yeah. And I mean, yeah, go ahead.
No, so should we make a motion then?
Yes.
Okay. So if I make the motion, I'm just going to say simply that we have been advised of the impacts of the public works requirements around the library project and recommend that the architect's amendment number 3 be accepted by the commissioners. Is that adequate?
We have a motion.
That's the motion.
We have a motion.
I
Second.
A second. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries.
Great, thank you. And then the next topic that I think we should send a recommendation on is the moving forward with the temporary utility work, because that's another thing that we have to get approved by the city commission next week. And that comes in at about $58,000. I mean, I don't know the exact figure, and you don't have to approve the exact figure. But that's kind of a pre-construction thing that will get that work done so that we can make the most of the time that we have once construction starts, and they can really kind of roar out of the gate with all that stuff in place. And that'll be about a 2 to 3 week, probably closer to 3 week period of time.
So basically, we're working to this month to the time when people actually see their playground stuff disappear, right?
This playground stuff will disappear on June 22nd.
Okay. What's this postponement stuff? It's coming right up.
No,
Okay.
it's
It has to
coming
do
right
with-
up, yeah.
It has to do with what they're going to replace it with.
Well, I
Or
understand
how
that.
they're going to replace
I
it
understand
with.
that.
Side had a mind.
Maybe.
Do you want to know more in detail what those utility changes are and that kind of thing?
No.
Okay.
Keep talking about getting your 2 hours back. I
Yes,
don't
they told you.
And the reason it has
Might
to
make
go
you
to the-
excited, but no.
Does the water flow? Does it go
Yes,
downhill?
you could.
Okay, good. That's good enough for me.
So to clarify why it needs to go to the commission, so is this extra, then, or is this additional, or just
Well, it's
the
kind
timing?
of, it's timing, and it's above $50,000, but, and we don't have the GMP approved yet.
Okay.
And so,
It has to do with, we want to get this work done before the contract actually gets signed.
yeah, it's kind of outside the GMP thing. I think the money's included in the budget,
Money's in the
though.
GMP.
Yeah, the money's
It-
included.
It's actually going to be a change order to their contract.
Yeah, it kind of,
But-
yeah.
And the contract stands at $0 or something like that right now, but this will be the first change order. And then later, the GMP will come along and it'll be a change order also.
Yeah,
Just
and
how
that's
it's handled
just how it
clearly.
kind of is
Okay.
called, named,
Okay.
yeah. I know, it's strange.
So it's not tapping into contingency or anything, it's already in there, it's just that it's
Yeah.
happening before
Yeah.
the contract is signed.
Right. Well, it's like we have a contract, but with the contractor. But it's because we hired them early, they could in no way possibly know what to charge us for the building. So that was the whole CMGC way of hiring. And then what they do is they work with you and the architect, and they figure out this guaranteed maximum price that they're gonna charge you once they know, as much as they can know. And so that's what we're working towards in August. Yeah.
Okay.
And you need a motion on this, too?
Yes, please.
Well, I move that we recommend to the city council that, right?
Commission.
City commission, that we move forward with the temporary utilities work this month, which will then precede the rest of the construction work. So something like that.
We have a motion.
I'm seconding that one.
We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Okay, motion passes.
So any other questions about construction or how that's going, or?
But we don't have to have one on the steel.
No, that's not till July, so we'll meet again before then.
Okay.
So we don't need to talk about that yet.
Okay.
The trees aren't coming down before the ground breaking. So
That's right, the trees are not coming down before the groundbreaking.
Okay.
The trees are coming down. That will be one of the first things that happens on August 10th or whenever.
Okay.
They'll work on they'll cut down the trees and they'll start working on that back wall. Yeah. And so and the fence will go up. Probably portions of a fence will even be there on the groundbreaking ceremony day.
Yeah.
They'll start to try to do things. Once we have the commission meeting on the 5th, they'll try to do some, soft things on the site that they can get away with that won't intrude on the groundbreaking. But they won't be doing any, just some prep work. But, yeah, the trees and the back wall, those are the first things. So it'll be actually kind of helpful to have the swing set and the slide already dealt with.
This gives more power to your argument.
Pardon?
It gives more
Yeah.
power to your argument.
Yeah. I mean, we knew they were going to come down sooner or later. It's just a matter of weeks at this point.
My only thought is that with the slide and the swings going away, I think there will be questions about what is going to be in its place in the new design. So what is the answer that will, do you know?
Me on June 25th, and I might know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just because I can see
Questions.
people asking that, saying, "Oh, okay,
Questions before
what
that.
what
Point them at Parks and Rec.
will there be a part? I can just see that question being.
Well, I think we need to reassure them that that equipment will be replaced in some way, shape, or form, that there
Yeah.
will be a playground
Right.
at the library, and that's
Yeah.
really important for people to know.
Okay.
And as long as, most people are more or less satisfied knowing that there will be play
Something.
equipment.
They have faith
Yeah.
that it'll be
Right. Yeah.
good choices.
But it definitely will be there.
Yeah. Okay.
Just a little farther away from the slide will be just a little farther away from the spray park, which will be a good thing.
And it won't be 17 feet in the air and red hot steel every summer.
Exactly. Yeah, you need to come to the PrAC meeting.
No, thank you.
That's a good answer.
All right, moving on. Communications. Linda.
Hey, everybody, I'm still Linda.
Hi, Linda.
Foundation. Oh, my God. We're having so many little mini meetings and subcommittee meetings. I don't know how. They've just been going on and on and on and on. And so we're moving in the background. We're moving. A lot of them, we're not ready to talk about. So, and the big one will be the golf tournament on June 26th. And so we're going to have a presence. We're the featured nonprofit for the golf tournament. We're looking at investment policy. We're opening more bank accounts to get all that money we're going to get. So, all that kind of stuff. And so, if you have any questions, and then I'm not going to be here next month, so I'm going to ask you to accept DA's
I can
report, please.
I can report for you.
Thank you. I get to go see grandsons next month.
Very cool.
But we're still working, because you know that we're going to work at the groundbreaking. We're doing all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, the groundbreaking is really the foundation kickoff. Yeah. So
Absolutely.
there will be some fun announcements.
Fun.
Fun.
Any
fun.
questions that I can? We're going to do it. We've committed. We've named an amount. And hope we raise more than that.
Gee, I had a question.
I have the minutes. I asked for them, so I need minutes to open the next bank account.
My observation is that
We
it's
did a lot of
well
work
organized.
in a short amount of time, didn't we?
Things
that
are
night?
really moving right along. So that the organization will be well structured, and including a really good investment policy, so for the funds until they actually, because they're thinking in terms of both funding for the library immediately and long-term, so that the foundation will live on.
And we've had some recommendations not to have an endowment because by its nature, endowment, you can only live off the interest. And sometimes some of the cost in a particular year may be more. Or we may take all the money and use it at some point for a particular thing. But so we're working on all of that. We have a policy that we're looking at that's been tailored for us, and then we're going to be voting on. So we're all excited. We're all working hard.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other
Want to say something about the Friends?
Are you coming back up to talk about the Friends?
The Friends. What shall I say about the Friends? They're very friendly. Sometimes they're very friendly, and they've decided on what they're going to do immediately about money. They've made a long-term pledge of $100,000, and it seems like they're willing to live up to that $100,000. But initially, they're going to give a smaller amount. And I don't want to tell you guys till we tell the foundation, so because it's going to be. But you'll hear soon.
It's all later on stuff.
Okay.
Okay.
Good. Any other communications? All right, moving on. Future agenda items? Anyone? All right, so, with that being said, we will adjourn at 6:43. 5:43.
Yeah.
Time flies. Next meeting will be July 8th at